Otto's Tales, story time brought to you by PragerU Kids. I'm Jill, and today I'm sharing a famous story from the Bible. Otto, thank you! Are you preparing for a storm? Yes. Well, I have a feeling that you and many of our friends have heard this story before, but I'll bet you've never heard it like this. Oh, thunder! Otto! Oh, don't be scared. Let's read Noah and the Rainbow. Once upon a time, a very long time ago, after God created the world, there was a faithful, righteous man named Noah who had a wife and 3 sons. Noah's sons were named Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And these 3 sons had wives too. They were a big, happy family who lived in peace. But the world was turning crazy and violent. People who were once good were now unkind and were treating each other poorly. Friends were no longer friends. Neighbors were no longer neighborly. It was a strange, scary time. Noah did not like it, nor did he understand why it was happening. One day, God spoke to Noah and presented him with a challenge like no other. "Noah!" God's echoey voice bellowed from above. When Noah heard it, he was surprised. You can bet that he paid close attention. "Build a large boat, Noah, an ark. Make it out of wood, put rooms in it, and cover it inside and out with tar." God gave Noah very detailed instructions about how big, tall, and wide the ark should be. God even told him to make it 3 stories high. Noah listened, but was confused. God never spoke to him before, and suddenly he wanted him to build a boat? But Noah listened carefully. "I will be sending a great flood to destroy the earth and cleanse it of its wickedness, to make everything and everyone good again," God continued. "Take all your family, lots of food, and 2 of every kind of animal with you on this ark. If you do this, you will survive the storm ahead." Noah didn't know whether he had the ability to build such a huge boat, but he was faithful and did as he was told. His neighbors laughed at him. His friends laughed at him. Everyone laughed at him. Noah didn't like being made fun of, but he chose to not pay any attention to them and did what God requested. He worked very hard, cutting down trees, collecting and storing food, until the ark was ready. Just like God had promised, the skies eventually grew dark, clouds hugged the earth, and the air turned misty and cold. God then brought the animals to Noah, 2 of every kind, male and female. It was time to load everyone into the ark. Elephants, crows, bulldogs, bald eagles, turkeys, foxes, tortoises, hares, snakes, frogs, wolves, sheep, little red hens, every living creature on earth, into the ark. Soon, it began to sprinkle. Then, the rain pitter-pattered. Then, it poured more and more, louder and louder. The water rose higher and higher. The ark was afloat in a stormy sea with no land in sight. Heavy rain fell upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. Noah was relieved he followed God's instructions, and the rain soon stopped. With his family and 2 of every kind of animal of the earth packed into the ark, Noah was then curious if there was any land left anywhere. So he sent a raven to investigate. It kept flying back and forth, so he sent out a dove. The dove came back. No dry land. But Noah didn't give up. In 7 days, Noah sent the dove out again. And this time she returned with a freshly plucked olive leaf in her beak, which meant there was dry land nearby. In another 7 days, the dove was sent out into the world again, found a new home on land, and never returned. The ark eventually landed upon the mountains of Ararat. The waters dried, and Noah, his family, and 2 of every animal returned to the earth to live abundantly. Noah was thankful. God kept his promise and protected his family just like he said he would. Then God spoke to Noah again. From this day forward, whenever you see my bow in the clouds, know that I am remembering your faith, your service, and your courage. And I will never send another flood like this again. Noah smiled, and every time he and anyone else saw a rainbow in the sky, it was a reminder how God always keeps his promises. The end. This is one of my favorite Bible stories. Having faith to do what is right is sometimes very difficult. I'll bet a lot of people thought that Noah was crazy and teased him for building a big boat. But Noah knew in his heart that it was the right thing to do. Hey, Otto, he didn't listen to them and finished his task. Noah's confidence, perseverance, and trust in God got his family and all those animals through a very scary time. Good for you, Otto! Thank you for watching Otto's Tales. No need to be scared. Check out some of our other stories too. Keep reading, keep watching, and keep an eye out for God's rainbows. We're so glad you joined us for today's reading. Otto's Tales is made possible through the generous support of donors like you. You can help us keep the stories coming by going to PragerU.com/donate today.